I see him between the shadows and my smoke, man. God could watch me sin, he turn away from all my foes, man.
45, we got a 45, and I pray to God he don't bring it, man. Sunset and just another text, and that last semester ain't mean a thing. Everything that's evil made me feel alive. I know my niggas on the south side got my back tonight.
If you want it, I got it. You want it, I got it. If you want it, I got it. You want it, I got it down. Smoking on that fishbone like Around with my chest bone like Talk that nigga shut down like And the rest of it, but you say we don't care. Smoking on that fishbone like Around with my chest bone like Talk that nigga shut down like And the rest of it, but you say we don't care.
With my fofo, with my popo, popo second head more. They said I got no draws. They said yo man you draw. They said drum man you lose. They said drum man gun those. I was very confused. I got friends that kill. I got friends that die. I got many woes. I got many wives. I got enemies and I roll the dice. Ay, yeah. I got enemies. Ay, yeah.
Smoking on that fishbone like Walk around with my chest bone like Talk down and get shut down And the rest of it, what you say we don't care. Smoking on that fishbone like Walk around with my chest bone like Talk down and get shut down And the rest of it, what you say we don't care. Watching over me, goddamn, hope the homies rest in peace. I can't, as I sink in the concrete, I throw a prayer to the homies.
25, they said 25 on P on one side, he just turned 18. Sun shining when they hit my cousin, it was like a mom past MLK day. Said some nights I see him between the shadows and my smoke, man. God could watch me sin, he turn away from all my foes, man.
45, we got a 45, and I pray to God he don't bring it, man. Sunset and just another text, and that last semester ain't mean a thing. Everything that's evil made me feel alive. I know my niggas on the south side got my back tonight.
Just blown like talk that and get shut down and the rest of it, but you say we don't care.
With my fofo, with my popo, popo second head more. They said I got no draws. They said yo man you draw. They said drum man you lose. They said drum man gun toes. I was very confused. I got friends that kill. I got friends that die. I got many woes. I got many wives. I got enemies and I roll the dice. Ay, ay, yeah. I got enemies. Ay, yeah.
Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, yeah. And the rest of it, what you say we don't care. Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, yeah. And the rest of it, what you say we don't care.
Watching over me. Goddamn, hope the homies rest in peace. I can't, as I sink in the concrete, I throw a prayer to the homies.
25, they said 25 on P on one side, he just turned 18. Sun shining when they hit my cousin, it was like a month past MLK Day. Shit, some nights I see him between the shadows and my smoke, man. God could watch me sin, he turned away from all my foes, man.
45, we got a 45, and I pray to God he don't bring it, man. Sunset and just another text, and that last semester ain't mean a thing. Everything that's evil made me feel alive. I know my niggas on the south, so I got my back tonight.
Just boom, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down,
With my fofo, with my popo, popo second head more. They said I got no draws. They said yo man you draw. They said drum man you lose. They said drum man gun toes. I was very confused. I got friends that kill. I got friends that die. I got many woes. I got many wives. I got enemies and I roll the dice. Ay, yeah. I got enemies. Ay, yeah.
Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, yeah. And the rest of it, what you say we don't care. Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, yeah. And the rest of it, what you say we don't care.
I'ma go get my smoke with me. Never gonna set me free. Angels watching over me. Goddamn, hope the homies rest in peace. I can't, as I sink in the concrete, I throw a prayer to the homies.
25, they said 25 on P on one side, he just turned 18. Sun shining when they hit my cousin, it was like a month past MLK Day. Shit, some nights I see him between the shadows and my smoke, man. God could watch me sin, he turned away from all my foes, man.
45, we got a 45, and I pray to God he don't bring it, man. Sunset and just another text, and that last semester ain't mean a thing. Everything that's evil made me feel alive. I know my niggas on the south side got my back tonight.
Just boom, like yeah. Talk that and get shut down, What you say, we don't care.
With my fofo, with my popo, popo second head more. They said I got no draws. They said yo man you draw. They said drum man you lose. They said drum man gun those. I was very confused. I got friends that kill. I got friends that die. I got many woes. I got many wives. I got enemies and I roll the dice. Ay, yeah. I got enemies. Ay, yeah.
Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, and the rest of it, what you say, we don't care. Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down,
Yo, what's good, everybody? We back with another Sold Out Live, another Sold Out podcast on this Monday, man. We're talking Music Monday, man. Why I say sold out, but we're talking Music Monday on this Monday, man. Y'all smash the like button, sub up to the channel if you haven't done so already. Of course, y'all know my name is Jeremy Jones, and I make content about sneakers, occasional try-on hauls, and y'all know this is Music Monday, man. I think Dunks is handling family business, so pretty much we're just gonna keep it simple, normal, hour and 30 minutes on the live, man. Y'all smash the like button as y'all come in and out. Sign up for the Sold Out Discord. It is pinned up at the top of the chat. It is free to sign up. That is the link pinned up at the chat. If you like sneaker content, you're in the right place, man. So y'all see the topics, man. We're talking I almost called him Corey, yo, but we're talking Tory Lanez, pretty much. Expected to get a sentence today, man. So I'm very curious what it is. I've been kind of waiting this joint out for quite some time, but we shall see what it is. I'm hoping it should come down within the next minute, man. I'm gonna just refresh the Google searches on this joint. I don't know how many years he's anticipated to get, but we shall see. Apparently, this all stemmed from the Megan the Stallion situation back in 2020. I know me and Dunks have done a live on it before, and he had been found guilty, so he's been locked up ever since. I know he's been trying to fight the case left and right, trying to get it appealed and trying to get a new case, or at least a new trial, I should say. He's not going to get a new case, but he's trying to get a new trial, which is understandable, man. I'm by one say that I'm kind of surprised that he was found guilty, but I'm kind of not. I mean, the odds was not in his favor to begin with, if we're going to keep it 100. And also, I want to touch on a little bit of C Murder, man. I'm going to do a separate live probably next Monday if nothing crazy popping off in the music world. I want to touch on more of C Murder. Maybe I can cover it all on this stream, but I kind of want to do half on Tory and half on C Murder, because I feel like C Murder, for the people who don't know, that is Master P's brother. Pretty much, he got sentenced to life in prison, and for the longest, he's been saying he's not guilty and he was wrongly committed. Personally, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I will say this. If he is, he's been locked down for at least 21 years, right? And counting. Apparently, he was convicted on murder for a 16-year-old. So, allegedly, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I do got some articles I want to pull up and kind of read it. I know that Kim Kardashian has been trying to work to get this man out. If y'all hear me okay, let me know for sure. Audio's showing good on my end, but I just want to make sure everything is looking good to you guys. Y'all let me know, make sure visuals okay and everything like that. Just let me know up in the chat. But yeah, that's what I want to touch on tonight, man. Just a real chill stream, to be honest. I'm hoping that the Tory Lanez verdict breaks like any minute now. I think he's facing up to 22 years. Like, that's the maximum he can get for this situation. And I'm going to cover the article, kind of just what he is pretty much is getting charged for. You know what I mean? So I personally think there's a lot of holes in that story, and I feel like Tory should have took, I mean, he did the best situation given the outcome, and anybody can say like, hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda, did X, Y, Z, right? You could say if that was me, I would have this or that. People say that all the time, but you don't know what you're gonna do until you're in that situation. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. We got no hype in the building with the salute. Says shit, just got done running around, now home making grub ready for the stream. Hey, post that grub up in the Food Network section and it's sold out, man. Most definitely. Appreciate that for coming through, man. So let me see what's going on with Tory real quick. I do want to see if there's been a verdict or anything just yet. I don't think so. I know they were doing live updates. I don't think they're more so doing so right now. But let me share my screen real quick, and then we'll get things popping. I want to kind of start with Tory first. Hopefully stay not too long on him. Probably a strong 30 minutes, and then we'll close out with the C Murder situation for sure. So y'all smash that like button as y'all come in and out. Says Tory Lanez to be sentenced for shooting Meg Thee Stallion. So this was literally updated today. Last update was 4:26 p.m. So about a few hours ago. So I think what's happening, probably last thing I heard for real, I guess they're actually in the hearing, and before the judge makes their ruling, pretty much they're trying to see, give, I guess, nothing but positive things about him. So says rapper Tory Lanez is awaiting sentencing Monday after being found guilty in the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. Think about it. This happened in 2020, and he's just now being sentenced in 2023. Of course, because he didn't plead guilty. And even if he had plead guilty, you could still be taken that long to be sentenced something. So, I mean, usually it takes a few months, but sometimes they can delay it and push it back, especially it don't matter because you're going to get time served. But, I mean, 22 years, long time, man. So the sentence for the 31-year-old Canadian rapper, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, is set to arrive after several delays. His sentencing hearing was originally scheduled for January, but it was rescheduled when Lanez hired a new attorney, and again after his legal team filed a motion for a new trial. The motion was denied in May. So yeah, the judge is not giving him a new trial. At this point, I'm gonna be honest, I think Tory deserves a new trial, because I feel like this, right? One thing that people are not really thinking about or not really mentioning for real, if we're going to keep it 100, there was 4 people in that vehicle when all that went down, right? It was Meg, him, the friend Kelsey, and then also there was the driver, which I think is also Tory's security guard. But I'm going to just say he was the person driving the vehicle, because they were all under the influence. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I highly doubt I'm gonna put it this way. I hope, and this is all alleged. This whole live is everything I say is alleged. I don't know. It's just all alleged. But I would hope that the one person driving the vehicle is sober. So why wouldn't you have? This is my thing. You have Tory's. If I'm thinking from attorney perspective, and I know Dunks probably say like, man, everybody always say at this point, man, just go to attorney school with the way that my mind thinks and how I can always think of, well, you know, that I always give the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt. If he did do it, hey, by all means, take your lick on the chin. And look like he's been taking it so far, with the exception of trying to fight it. But I will say this. That person driving the vehicle, which I believe was security, who was sober, I think, because he didn't show up to the very, very last day of the hearing, which I think at that point when he showed up, sentencing was already going to be read. But he had been missing an MIA like the whole entire trial. When in actuality, in my opinion, I feel like he could have been your good way out, you know, to say like, hey, because at that point, I know they tried to use Kelsey as that kind of like that contradicting situation. But if they could have got the security guard in there, a sober person compared to, you know, let's just keep it 100. Safe to say that they were partying, you know, with Kylie Jenner. I'm assuming they were all under the influence. I don't know, but allegedly, I'm assuming, hey, if you partying with your homies or whatever day is, right? How you think so much probably stuff came out? Because reality is, whenever you under the influence, you say a lot of things that you normally wouldn't say. And I'm going to just leave it at that. So I say all that to say is the one person who is sober could really help you out in the situation, so to speak. At least get the story straight, because, I mean, he can low-key probably pin together and put together stuff that he could easily debunk and like, well, yeah, you were too drunk at this point, and remember I had to do this because XYZ, and they probably don't remember, you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of that stuff they don't remember, especially when you're under the influence. You remember key points, but usually it's always somebody else that have to put the glue together for you or straighten it out a little bit. And he could have been that key factor to Tory's case, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to read the rest of the article. It says, let's see, Meg may appear in court Monday to give a victim impact statement or may have one read for her in her absence. Okay, I'm very curious. To wait for some updates. We definitely should have some like tonight, at least later tonight, man. But that's my thing, though. That's the one thing, looking back on it, because, I mean, the thing is with the whole Tory and Meg situation, I'm not saying he's not guilty, but what I am saying is there's so many holes in that story where I feel like that could have easily should have been possibly a mistrial once Kelsey took the stand, in my opinion. We definitely caught, you know, just missing stories. Now, a lot of people say, well, Tory should have got on the stand and said something and defended himself. I'm going to be 100. I don't think he should have, because yes, he could get on the stand and clear the story up. But if the prosecutors, like Meg's, like pretty much the people that saying he did it, if they're gonna question him, it's not gonna be some easy questions where like, did you do it? No. And then, all right, no further questions. It's gonna be way deeper than that, man. They're gonna ask a whole bunch of tough questions, and it's gonna catch him fumbling and mess him up. And most attorneys, if you're on the defense side, most of them is gonna ask you not really to say anything for real, because for the simple fact that when you get examined, cross-examined, or whatever they want to cross it by the other side, that's their job. Think about it. This person has went to school, training, and had X amount. And think about it. I'm assuming Meg them didn't hire the bottom of the barrel attorneys. So these people got plenty of experience to where, you know, hey, yeah, I know exactly how to word things and trip them up where he going to admit guilt. And that's the thing. You don't want to get on the stand and accidentally slip up and admit guilt. So, yeah, to be honest, that's why when you see a lot of people facing like cases and stuff like that, you just hear them just pretty much sit there and await their fate. Now, occasionally, and this has happened with the YNW Melly situation, the judge is going to, like me, right? I'll use myself, for example, the times that I've went to court. I had legal representation. Not always. Sometimes I just went and took my lick on the chin because I just couldn't afford the attorney. Or I just didn't want to put the bag up. I'll put it like that. But then when I started putting the bag up, usually the attorney's supposed to do all the talking. However, The judge, literally, like my last case, thank God it was dismissed after a long, lengthy. I don't want to go down it, but anyway, the judge said, I want to hear from Mr. Jones. And that's another thing I don't like. You go by first, they go by last name in there. So it's like, I want to hear from Mr. Jones. I got a question for Mr. Jones. He asked me, he wasn't too hard on me, but I mean, he was, he was letting me know, like, this is your, XYZ can happen. This could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's basically was reminding me at the level of power he had, but at the same time, he was trying to give me, I feel like that was my hint for me, like, all right, cool, I'm going to have to go ahead and, work with my attorneys and do XYZ versus trying to drag something out. Pretty much he telling me, you could be easily brought up to this and this and this. And to be honest, no judges, that's the point of trial by jury versus with judges. Judges don't really listen to whole stories all the time. Like, what you see on TV, not in real life. I'm telling you personally. Like, the only reason these bigger cases get the attention that they do get is because of the name. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. They know this is going to be all over blogs, so they want to make sure they get it right. And I'm not taking no particular shots at any judges because God forbid if I have to see one again, I don't want him to be just happen to watch this and then make his own decision off me off of that. But I say all that. And then when you're doing a trial by jury, that's one of the most expensive cases. I know y'all hear me say this stuff a lot, but it's one of the most expensive cases you can have versus just going to regular court. When you do trial by jury, like I said, 100K minimum. And with Tory, I'm pretty sure he done dropped over 100K on this joint, if not more. Oh, definitely more. Because he tried to appeal it. He's got new attorneys. One thing I'm going to say this, right? Good attorneys are not free. So if you're getting a great or an excellent attorney who knows they got a good track record and they've got their resume speaks from all the people they represented, you know what I mean? They're charging off how well they did off that last case, and they know that. Whether they use that to sell yourself to them or not, you know what I mean? Sometimes attorneys find you, and sometimes you got to do a lot of research and find the attorney, which I'm assuming in this case, Tory probably found the attorney. Think about it. This is his second one. I went to a case where I've had at least 4 different attorneys. I said I had 3 different attorneys on one case, as in like I had to let one go, replace it, let one go, then replace them. And then on the case before that, I had 2. So that's 5 right there off rip. And then like I said, I don't have a total of 6 attorneys, man. And I'm telling you, that joint is not cheap. And I'm going to just leave it at that. No Hype says facts. Jason Finch in the building says free Tory Lanez. I'm going to say this, man. I think with the maximum of 22 years, I don't think they're going to give him the max. But I assume, if I had to guess, right, I'm just making an educated guess. I don't know. Nothing has been read just yet. If I had to guess, he's going to be at minimum 5 years. I would think, if the judge is being nice, but the judge could go. I don't think he deserves double digits. I'm going to say that. Because at the end of the day, we still don't technically know who technically popped the gun off. And to be honest, he didn't shoot her. I think they shot at her, allegedly. I wasn't there again, but I think he shot at her, and those bullet fragments popped up from the ground, which, not to debunk like that didn't hurt, because I'm almost positive that still hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that didn't feel good to Meg. So, I mean, at the end of the day, even if she was wild and under the influence, no gun should have been involved, man. No matter who shot it, whether it was, because at this point, you got to narrow down 3 possible shooters. The security, the driver dude, which I highly doubt it was him, Tory, or Kelsey. Now, I don't know who, but I'm saying, like, that's something you got to realize. Like, you got to, as an attorney, if I'm going to represent somebody, that's one of the angles I'm going to definitely try to take, you know what I mean, where you could do that. And I'm not saying these guys didn't prep for that or didn't do that, so I don't know what these attorneys' process was, but obviously Tory should have been in there. Probably you got to make some stuff too, but sometimes your attorney don't talk to you until the day of. But I'm assuming with this bigger case, you definitely have a couple lawyer meetings, I would hope. The Slayer says, Ola Sneaker Familiar. What up, Slayer? Y'all smash that like button as y'all come in and out, man. Yeah, like I said, I would hope that he did have a couple meetings with his attorneys. My cases really sucked because after they get your money and hire you, man, you don't really start hearing from them until pretty much either there's been like an update in the case, or pretty much like with me, I ain't hearing from the mugs until sometimes the day of, you know. And then one attorney that hit me up a little bit ahead of time, he made it seem like he normally don't do, you know, like I don't know, that person really got on my nerves. But at the same time, even, I'll say all the attorneys, I'll say I got a love-hate for them, right? Yeah, they were doing their job, but at the same time, it really reflected upon myself of like, man, I really hate I even got myself in this mess at the end of the day, because now I hate, there's nothing more annoying than feel like you got to lean on somebody for something. You know what I mean? Let's see. Iggy Azalea supports Tory Lanez with a letter at sentencing hearing. Okay, so Iggy Azalea put a letter. Now, these letters that they're talking about, right? I've also been through a scenario of this, right? One legal situation, and I hate that I can even relate to this. I can't relate to Tory's situation because I wasn't on that type of trouble, but as far as I can relate to as going to court, as in having to like, after being found, well, actually my situations, two of them I just pled guilty to it for a lesser sentence, and they were really light on me on that one. But I will say this, before, even after that, you do get, before they make their ruling and stuff, you can submit what these letters at hearing. They're called character letters for the most part, which is basically somebody writing a letter of your character and just trying to make you in a point of light. So basically the person that's making the call, hopefully they go as light as possible, which I guess one time they actually did. And then the second time they were like, man, you know, this ain't the first time, even though I was told that the second one had, even though the second situation I had been into, it had nothing to do with the first situation, completely two different things, but they still brought it up. But I feel like that shouldn't have been a thing. But one thing I did learn from those two for pleading guilty is, and where Tory them may have messed up, which he was doing good at first, the best thing you can do whenever you're in a legal situation, they got to read your rights first. They're going to tell you boom, 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 and then they're going to tell you how the right to remain silent, you have the right to an attorney. The best thing you do, shut up. Just what they tell you. Well, in theory, they're supposed to read your rights. Do they always? No. But in theory, they should read your rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. They're telling you off rip. That's what you need to do. Hey, cool. We see that we're accusing you of this. You need to be like, your next thing you need to do is like, I would like an attorney. That's all you need to say. I would like an attorney. Don't anything else, because they will use against you in a court of law. In fact, that's part of reading the rights. It says anything you can, in, or do, or say will be used against you in a court of law. So to be honest, and I hope nobody's ever put in, not necessarily just Tory situations or any legal situation at all, where your back's against the wall. Especially you don't want to be in a situation which I was in, where it was my word against theirs. Had I would have took 2 extra seconds to think about it, then I would have remained silent and took the attorney route. But check this out though. I'm gonna be honest, both times they had caught me off guard. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm being called in for one thing, and next thing you know, I'm getting slapped with this, you know? And I'm livid, so I go right into survival mode. You know, now I'm more chill and calm with it. I'm like, oh, well, one person tried to serve me at my crib one time, yo. I'm gonna be honest, like the dude, they was knocking at my door. They have to serve. One thing, you have to be served. If you're never served, when or if you do go to court, just say you happen and you have a feeling, you know what I mean? Like one time knew I had a court hearing from my attorney, but we technically won that first round because they was like, the judge was like, well, as much as y'all would like XYZ, because they was recommending jail time for me, and they were like, as much as you would like that, but you know, he wasn't properly served, so we can't even do that. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things too. Like, I hate that I know these little things about the law, but that's just kind of what come with the game. Once you, like I said, and me, for a person, I thought I would have never, growing up younger, man, I was like, man, I'm never going to get in trouble because I don't never do anything. I just be chilling. But sometimes it don't take much to break the law is what I'm trying to get at. Let me read the rest of this article real quick. It says, Lane's father grew emotional in court as he described described his son losing his mother at the age of 11 as a judge prepared the rapper sentence Monday. Sunstar Peterson, which I'm assuming that's his dad's name, a Christian minister, choked back tears as he talked about his wife, Eola, dying just a few days after showing the first symptoms of a rare blood disorder. I don't think anybody ever gets over that, said Peterson about the reaction of the youngest child, Lanez, but his music became his outlet. I mean, that's true to speak on that, but I mean, to be honest, a judge gonna hear that, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you as a person who have received characters, I've never had to write one, but I've had a whole bunch of people that we really low key was rocking me. I had a lot of people to present, and even when I presented it, they were like, "Yo, I'm low key kind of impressed." That doesn't mean the judge has to listen. I mean, he can read them, but a judge can be just there zoned out, not paying attention. My stuff was actually written, and that's up on the judge if he's gonna take the time to read it. You know, they may not, because they may already have their mind made up. And I'm not saying it's not worth a shot, but I mean, my thing is you might as well take a chance if you going in some legal stuff, man. I mean, if you already been found guilty or you don't plead guilty and that's one of your options, you might as well take it for a lesser sentence. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to have to sit and or do no more time longer than you have to. And to be honest, in my opinion, this is not, when you got a legal situation, this is not the time to be a tough guy. I repeat, this is not the time to be a tough guy. And I'm not saying you got to be like weak or anything, but you know, you're at the mercy of the court. So pretty much take what it, like, we'll say how Fetty Wap handled the situation, right? He pled guilty for a lesser sentence, got 5 years, and you know, they're not going to hit him with anything else. He had, you know, because he had a whole lot more time facing. So, I mean, 5 years compared to doing, like, I don't know, 40 don't sound as bad now, you know? And like I said, I'm almost positive with good behavior, if he do over 70% of that time, he's going to be out in 3 years. Still a long time, but you're going to get out and you're going to be on probation. You just got to walk a little bit of tightrope for a little bit. Now, in my opinion, probation is way too long, but hopefully they got this hearing coming up. I think it's based on the West Coast, so they may still be going through it. Let's see. The elder Peterson was one of several people who gave statements on Lane's character and charitable giving. Dozens more wrote letters to the judge. I told you, to the judge, David Halford, including the mother of Lane's young son, who spoke of his qualities as a father, and rapper Iggy Azalea, who asked Herford to hand down a sentence that was transformative, not life-destroying. Okay, I mean, that's fair. Like, hey, yeah, hit him with something, but don't make it where he can't recover from it. Because, I mean, 22 years, that's a long time, dog. You know what I mean? The judge said Lane's son, who is about 6 years old, also wrote him a handwritten letter, but he did not describe it further. Oh, wow. Now that right there would have, see, that's why I know I couldn't be no judge, bro. Like, that right there would have got to me on another level. Like, I don't, because I know how it is with people with their kids and how important kids are to them. And, like, I wouldn't dare want to, like, I couldn't do that, man. I couldn't do that at all. Like, I feel for the judge on that one right there, because that would be a tough call all the way, right? Having a reading from like a 6-year-old too. Sheesh. Let's see. The prosecutor want Tory Lanez to serve 13 years. Yeah. Defense attorneys push for probation and sentencing memos. I don't think Tory's gonna get no probation now. I think the judge, if he even looks at any of these letters and realize like it was a whole bunch of BS of too much partying, like I said, I'm still sticking with my number 5, maybe even 6 years, and probably I don't think he's gonna give him the whole 13. Think about it, 13 out of 22 though, but still 13 years. That's still a long time though. Says, man, these prosecutors have no heart either, man. But think about it, that's just their role too. On June 6th, Los Angeles County District Attorney George Kushkin submitted a sentencing memorandum recommending Lanez be sentenced to 13 years in state prison. The district attorney offense also cited him lack of remorse as a bias to deny probation. Okay, so they want him to do 13. They want him to do 13. That's crazy. 13 years? Bro. That's not even cool. Think about it, how old his son will be in 13 years. If you throw 10 years in there, his son will be what? He'll be 16. So you throw another like 18, 19. His son will be a grown man when he get out. He'll be damn near 19 years old. You know? If we're going to keep it 100. And that's too long for anybody to go without seeing their child, man. It says, in the 12-page memo first reported and obtained by reporter Megan Prosecutors wrote the defendant has failed to exhibit any remorse, which begs the question whether any of the apologies he directed to the victim in his text message and jail call were genuine and not just driven by an effort to maintain her silence. Okay, because he didn't say this, I don't think that's cool. Because if you think about this, reality is he can't really, if he thinks he's innocent and he know he didn't do anything, I ain't gonna say thinks, if he knows he's innocent, why would he just come out and be super remorseful? I mean, he said he was sorry, but he said he was sorry for what had went down. He didn't say he did or didn't do anything. I'm gonna just throw that out there. We got T Landry and Kia M in the building. Says, hola, what up? What up? Y'all smash that like button as y'all come in and out, man. I don't think that's fair that they try to use that to give him a full 13 years. Except for the jail call admission and his apology text to the victim back in July 2020, the defendant has spent nearly 3 years since the time wagging a campaign of misinformation to re-traumatize the victim. Prosecutors continue. These prosecutors got no heart, but I know that's just their job, man. In the sentencing memorandum, and Deputy District Attorneys Kathy T. and Alexander Bott said Lanez not only lacks remorse, he is clearly incapable of accepting any responsibility of his own actions. I mean, he's still trying to double down that he didn't do anything. So, I mean, I can see why he's not saying anything, or not showing any emotion. I mean, to be honest, Tory's in a, what is it called? A rock and a hard place. Tory Lanez found guilty of all charges in MeganTheeStallion shooting. There is justice. Let's see. The Slayer says 99% of celebrities don't really serve all their time anyway. It's always there. They serve 3 months with good behavior and they out. 13 though. But see, this is state, so he don't got. It ain't like I think if it was federal, he would have to do 85% of the time. But I think with it being state, I think he can. If the judge is nice, they can give him, if they gave him 13, he could get probation in 4 years and get out with good behavior, 4.5 years. I mean, that's also a possibility too. So, I mean, to be honest, safe to say if they're recommending 13, I think the judge is not going to go no further than 13. So I would hope that it's up to the judge to walk that number back. I'm hoping they knock it down to single digits. But as far as his attorneys hoping just for probation, that ain't finna be on the table. You gonna get probation, but you finna get some time with it. You ain't finna just get probation for 13 years. That would have had to been a plea deal. You know what I mean? That's a plea deal type of thing. And I'm not sure if Tory had any plea deals on the table, but I guarantee he probably should have wished he could have, you know what I mean? Took some plea deals. T. Landry says 7 years. You think you think 7? I think 7 years to keep it 100. Even though I would still try to appeal it and get a new trial, but 7 years, I think that's actually somewhat fair. And then if he could do 2.5 years, he'll be out in 2.5 years. Think about it. And he's already been locked up for over a year. So yeah, honestly, to be honest, I'll give you that one. The Slayer says, thanks for clarification, Big Bro J. No problem. Yeah, I had to clarify my situation as well. And like I said, I'm not here to pick, I'm not on Tory's side. I'm not on Meg's side. I'm on the truth side. We don't really know we just know a gun went off. But I'll say this, back to T. Landry part here, 7 years, I feel like that's fair. And if he could do 2.5 years, and then he could do the rest of the years on probation or house arrest even, you know what I mean? Something like that. But also, you got to keep in mind, he is a Canadian, which I think they're going to have to ship him back. He going to have to go back over across that side. But even still, you can still make music and pop off in Canada and still push it out to the States if you really want to too, you know what I mean? So he can still go that way, you know what I mean? It just depends, you know what I'm saying? But no problem on the clarification though, but yeah, pretty much, yeah, he ain't doing no 3 months. You know what I mean? I'll give you a case in point. If you remember Kevin Gates, whenever he got locked up for kicking the crap out of that chick, allegedly. Because I seen both angles of the video, and he didn't connect with her, but he made an attempt. And the way he was acting in court, that's whenever he got found guilty. The judge, the prosecutors was recommending, I think 30 days, and the judge tripled it to 90 days. And then he had some other stuff pending, you know? So you got to keep all that stuff in the mind too. When you're in court, man, best thing I can tell y'all, be on your very, very best behavior. That whole like tough guy act, falling asleep, or just no. Act like you're paying, even if you ain't. Act like you're paying attention. Be engaged. You don't have to say anything, but you know, that's the best thing I can say. Like, cause that when it comes, like the judge and stuff, they're gonna see that. Especially if your stuff is broadcast on TV, they're gonna see that, man. Best thing you do, show a little bit of remorse, but don't show that you guilty. And I think that's what Tory Lanez, he just wanted to show that, like, hey, I'm really not guilty. Tory Lanez found guilty on all charges in the MeganTheeStallion shooting. There is justice. The prosecutors referenced Lanez's claims about the innocent on social media and his full-length album with several songs about shooting as an example. His last album, I ain't gonna lie, snapped though. His online reach is worldwide, millions of followers plus casual observers, and the defendant's statements embolden his followers so that they too have been conflicted and re-traumatizing the victim they wrote. I mean, the man's trying to defend himself, though. I mean, I feel like the judge can't hold that. I mean, they can, but I feel like they shouldn't hold that against him. I mean, you thinking you trying to prove your innocence. You trying to do look good. But one thing he should have did though, and he was doing it in the beginning, is stay off that social media. When you got illegal anything, unless it's your job, which in his case, his job, all he should have did, drop the album, promote the music, because he was touring and still opening up for people too. But he started, think about it. He also got into that, you know, allegedly where he knocked out August Alsina, you know what I mean? So, I mean, for trying to dap him up and stuff like that. So, I mean, he took a lot on the chin. But, you know, like when you walking around on probation and stuff like that, and you know everybody's waiting for your trial date, you got to be on kind of your P's and Q's. You can't get comfortable, and I think he just got a little comfortable, that's all. And I'm not knocking it. I still listen to Tory. Lawyers for Lane said in their own sentencing memo that he should get only probation and be released from jail to enter a residential substance abuse program. Substance abuse, safe to say he was under the influence, and I'm just going to call it alcohol at this point. I don't know, allegedly. That, he probably going to get that anyway, but he going to get some time with it. His lawyers are pushing for probation. I don't know. There was a gun misused, and it's been pointing to him. That right there screams 5 years to me. 5 years. But think about it. Like I said, he's already been locked up for over a year. I'm almost positive. Because he got found guilty at the top of the year, but I think he was already in jail waiting to go to trial because he had violated probation. So we'll be nice and say it's been damn near over a year. Or if it hasn't been a year, it's pretty close to it. So he's already got a year under the belt because usually they're going to give you time served. Unless they're just really, really mean. But yeah, he gets time served. If he gets 5 years, he gets time served. That's 1 year off. And then let him serve another year and a half in jail. And then those remaining 3 year probation, that's the best. Like I said, honestly, I think that's the best he can hope for. And if he get that, I would just leave it alone. That's just me though. I would just leave it alone, take my lick on the chin, make some music in jail to keep you relevant somewhat, and then come out swinging, man. I mean, that's it. I mean, you don't try, you don't switch up attorneys. I've been in this same scenario too, where I switched up attorneys on the same case too. Did I say I make the better decision at the time? Probably, but at the same time, it still cost me a whole bunch of money. So I know Tory don't drop a big bag on this. They say the evidence that led to his conviction was questionable at best, and that his lack of remorse should therefore not be a factor in his sentencing. The memo says if the allegations were true, then alcohol abuse and childhood trauma would be factors. That's kind of contradictory. This is what his attorneys are saying, and I get it, man. They're trying their best to get the least amount of sentencing possible for him. Like I said, to be honest, Tory's done the right thing, is just keep his mouth closed the whole entire time, man. Just keep it 100. Says jury finds Tory Lanez guilty of the shooting of MeganTheeStallion in December. So yeah, he actually got he got found guilty in December, but he had been locked up before then, waiting trial. So I think it had popped off. I think he was supposed to be sentenced in January to the best of my knowledge. So yeah, in December, this was he's been in there for he should get time served for a good year. The judge should be nice. Lanez was found guilty of 3 felonies in December for leaving the Traumazine rapper wounded with bullet fragments in her feet. It still doesn't say they shot her, though. I'm assuming that gun got shot at her. A jury of 7 women and 5 men deliberated for a day and a half before convicting Lanez of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded, unregistered firearm in the vehicle, and discharging the firearm with gross negligence. So I'm gonna say this: even if they found him not guilty on the assault of the semi-automatic firearm, if it's his vehicle, unless his driver's gonna take the charge, which in theory he should, but having a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle and discharged firearm and gross negligence, those two were gonna stick regardless. Now, whether he did it or not, maybe they could have got that off, but I'll say this: at best, that unregistered firearm, somebody got to take that. But in a sense, that could have been a probation charge, because I believe they was in Cali, right? That could have been 5 years probation. Maybe that's what he didn't shoot her, this, that, and the third. He beats those 2 charges. Think about it. It's 3 charges. He beats 2, and then the unregistered firearm. I'm guessing that's what his attorneys was hoping, right? He beats the 2 where it actually is discharging the firearm. He's looking to beat that. Semi-automatic, he's looking to beat that. And then the unregistered firearm in the vehicle, I'm assuming either somebody else take the charge in the car, which it sounds like nobody was down to do that. But he can take that, and then hopefully 5 years of probation. That's on a great day, but that's not what happened. Divine Photo says, I don't think Lanez will be in jail as long as people think. Yeah, I think, like I said, I assume, it hasn't been broken down yet. I'm gonna refresh my page here in a second, but I'm assuming 5 years. He gets time to serve. If everything goes right, if he's not out he should be out not in 2024, but 2025, early 2025. If he gets a light sentence, you know what I mean? They could give him probation too. This is just me. I don't know. I'm not there. But I'm assuming if he gets time served, he should be out. If he's really, really lucky, late 2024, but earliest 2025 is what I'm assuming, depending on it, because they're recommending 13 years. That's a long, when you talk double digits, dog, that's a long time. The Canadian rapper shooter trial began in December 12, 2022, more than 2 years after MeganTheeStallion accused the R&B artist of inflicting great bodily injury toward her. In a criminal complaint, prosecutors said Lanez fired a gun at the victim, identified as Megan P., after she got out of the SUV. I'm rhyming right now, bars. During an argument in the Hollywood Hills on July 12, 2020. Meg's legal name is Megan Pete. Okay, did not know that. Learned something new. At first, Los Angeles police reported the incident as shots fired, a woman with a foot injury, and a man arrested with weapon allegations. Meg revealed a few days later that her foot injuries came from gunshots. I remember at first she said it was from glass. So I'm assuming they got into it in the vehicle, and I don't know. I don't know where the glasses came from. Maybe she was kicking on the window. I don't know. Following months of the speculation and publicity surrounding the incident, prosecutors charged Lanez with a felony assault in October 2020. Lanez pled not guilty in November 2020. So, and he was out on probation, I believe. MeganTheeStallion testimony in Tory Lanez shooting trial. He was holding a gun, pointing it at me. Okay, so it was obviously I'm not saying she's telling the truth, and I don't know, but I would just hope you would not make that up on somebody. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. The Slayer says Big Bro dropping them album soon. Big Bro J dropping that album soon. Low key, I thought about dropping a little. So I'm gonna at least drop a single, man. all honesty, what's holding me back, I just want to get in. I want my stuff to come out right. I want it to be nice and smooth. I want to be something like I'm proud of. So I know me, man. But I do want to actually do a song. No cap. Says MeganTheeStallion testimony in Tory Lanez shooting trial. Meg took to the stand on December 13th, testified that she saw Lanez fire the handgun at her foot in the summer of 2020. She said tensions escalated between them during a car ride after leaving a party at Kylie Jenner's house, according to reports from the Los Angeles Times and Rolling Stone. Interesting. So, I mean, she saw it, but then she said her back was turned. It's been conflicting things that's going on in this situation. She said Lanez had an attitude because she had asked to leave the party early. The rapper asked Lanez, then told her she needed to stop lying to friend Kelsey Harris, who was also in the car, about their past sexual relationship. The pair went to, because I think Meg had been trying to claim that I guess she wasn't smashing them, but I guess he had already been smashing both of them for whatever reasons. The pair went on to trade bars over their respective music careers, Meg said, prompting her to ask to be let out of the vehicle. However, as she began to walk away from the car, Meg said she heard Lanez says dance excitably as a singer shot her. Like, yeah, dance. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm shocked. I'm scared. I never hear a gun going off, and I can't believe he's shooting at me, Meg said. He was holding the gun, pointing it at me. But did you see him shoot it? You just saw him with the gun. That don't mean you saw him shot it. That's my thing. After getting back in the car, Meg said Lanez promised her and Harris $1 million to keep quiet about the assault. Megan says she refrained from initially reporting the shooting to the police, citing him highlighting tension surrounding police brutality at the time. So there you go. So apparently she said that he promised them both $1 million. I don't know if I believe it or not, but I mean, you can't go off of he say, she say. I'm not saying she lying. I'm not saying he didn't do it. Says, this was the height of the police brutality in George Floyd, and if I said this man just shot me, I didn't know if they might shoot first and ask questions later, Meg explained, adding that the black community, it's not really acceptable to being cooperating with police officers. So, I mean, she got a point. I'm not trying to defend her, but she do got a point. MeganTheeStallion reflects on shooting in powerful Ellie essay. Says MeganTheeStallion wrote about being a survivor in an essay for Ellie on April 18th. Oh, she wrote an essay that accompanied her appearance on the magazine's May cover. When the guilty verdict came on December 23rd, 2022, it was more than just a vindication for me. It was a victory for every woman who has been shamed, dismissed, and blamed for a violent crime committed against them, Meg wrote. So she definitely holding it down. Like I said, I don't know how I really feel about the situation because she, low-key, I'm not defending her. She's been caught in some lies too, though. You know, I'm going to just keep it 100. She's been caught in some lies too. We're going to keep it 100. She's not all the way innocent, but at the end of the day, I don't want to take away from, like, if he shot her, he shot her, man. And I'm going to just leave it at that. If he shot her, he shot her. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't want to say, like, anything out the way out of that, man. Is my focus off? Let me make sure I'm straight real quick. Let me put myself back on the main screen. I believe my focus, for some strange reason, extra blurry, man. Let me double check this joint. Cool. I don't know what happened. My blurry. Why y'all ain't tell me my blurriness had went off? But I was at the bottom of the screen though. My bad. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, and I've probably been blurry like that for a minute, man. I didn't catch that joint. But yeah, I say all that to say, let me get back on the sharing this article real quick. Boom. My bad, y'all. I don't know why I was so blurry, man. Y'all didn't tell me. But yeah. So I'm be literally just watching myself at the screen, but I know I was looking fine at first. I don't know how the heck that even happened. Anyway, but yeah, I'll say that she hasn't been 100% like innocent the whole time too, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like she's not. I'm not saying we all perfect in here, but I mean she definitely kept some information. But I mean, is her justification like for worth it? Maybe so. I'll just leave it at that. She says she went to discuss the public humiliation she faced as some people tried to discredit her trauma and advocated for her safer environments for women to come forward to the violent behavior without fear of retaliation. She's been mighty quiet lately too, music-wise too. I'm going to just keep it 100. I don't know if y'all have noticed that. I'm not saying that has anything to do with one or the other, But yeah, she's been mighty quiet. It says, we must provide stronger resources for women to recover from the tragedies physically and emotionally without fear of judgment, she wrote. We must do more than say her name. We must protect all women who have survived the unimaginable. So, I mean, she's got a good motive behind it here. So, pretty much, man, I think that's pretty much covering the Tory situation. Let me put myself back on the main screen. Make sure my focus is still good, man. I don't know what's going on with the camera tonight, man. I think I'm good, though. I think I'm good for the most part. But, yeah. And I think, I should have it on, like, autofocus for sure. I think we should be good. Or if it's on manual focus. Well, no. If it was on autofocus, it would have had my face all up in this joint. But, I say all that to say, like, I'm very curious what Lane is going to get. I'm going to hit a refresh on Google just to see if we got any type of news. It's still like they should be dropping that joint, like, at any moment now, man. Last thing, he just, Tory Lanez father pleads for mercy. So I guess we'll hear from it in a second. We shall see. Let me hit the chat real quick. T. Landry says, she had been quiet for music. Yeah, she's definitely been quiet for music for sure. Last thing I think I seen her doing was she was making some type of food with her boyfriend or something like that. So I don't know if anybody else got anything on this for sure. I do want to touch on the C Murder situation. Definitely a long time coming for the C Murder situation, but I don't think we got anything just yet from the Tory Lanez situation. Says she wants no mercy. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think from Meg's case, what she wrote, she don't want no mercy for him. So she's doubling down from what I've seen. But I do want to touch on this Kim Kardashian being slammed for trying to support C Murder. If you're not familiar with who C Murder is, man, I'm doing a transition real quick. I'm going to be on this joint for like another 30 minutes. So for sure. But I will say this. If y'all aren't familiar with C Murder, that is Master P's brother. C Murder. He was pretty much found guilty for murder of a 16-year-old. So let's see. T. Landry says, what Kim K doing? She supposedly went to school for law and all that stuff, and she's passed the bar now, so she's representing C Murder, trying to get him released. So this says, Kim Kardashian slammed by C Murder victim's family. He shouldn't be released. C Murder has been locked up for over 21 years, man. A lot of people, including him, says he didn't do it. A lot of people, I've even seen where Romeo, again, this is all alleged. I've even seen where Romeo said that he knows for a fact, and even Master P said he knows for a fact that he didn't do it. You know? And also it's been coming out that the one person that did testify him in the second trial, because he had 2 trials, I think. And I think the first one, the judge didn't like the way the jury kind of handled the situation, so he let him out on house arrest. And then he went right back, I think, and then they found him guilty. So, but apparently one of the people testified that they said they saw that the flash come from his direction, but they, later come out and said that they know they didn't see that. So, let's see. So, TMZ says that Kim Kardashian used her voice to try to spring Master P's incarcerated brother C Murder from prison, but the gesture was a slap in the face to the alleged victim's family. So the family still thinks he did it. George Thomas, brother of the slain Steve Thomas, tells TMZ Hip Hop, whenever a celebrity such as Kim Kardashian advocates for C Murder, it's like reopening the same wound that cut the family so deep years ago. I mean, and I can see that, they're mourning over someone they lost. He says that from Kim K and other celebrities have made it impossible to properly mourn Steve, who was only 16 at the time of his death, adding that the family is constantly reliving the pain, which I can see that. And he was 16, and I think C Murdered them. They were obviously adults, but apparently it went down at a nightclub. But apparently the 16-year-old actually snuck in the club. You know what I mean? I think it was the CC Murder. From what I've been doing enough research just to be dangerous, I'm not gonna sit up here and say like I know the whole thing about the C Murder case, because if you ever just take the time to try to like literally Google the C Murder case situation, you find bits and pieces. It don't lead you to a solid trail. Anybody who's made a video on it, they've had difficulty as well. So there's a lot of misinformation that's not been brought to the public. I'll say that. George says there's a mountain of evidence pointing to C Murder as the killer and thinks it's just celebrities, not the common man who wants the ex No Limit rapper freed from prison. Says, I want to shed some light on the case that I've been working on for years. Corey Miller has spent 21 years in prison for a crime he did not commit, and his conviction is based entirely on the testimony of two men whom the state dragged to trial. I'm assuming this is Kim Kardashian's statement. Says that dragged the trial to material witness warrants. Those men have now sworn that their prior testimony was untrue. There is no remaining evidence that even suggests that Corey Miller, which that's C Murder's real name, by the way, for the people who didn't know, is any more capable than the hundreds of patrons who were at the Platinum Club on January 12, 2002. So this went down in 2002 when Steve Thomas was tragically shot. So I think this is what they had on there. I think this is a gallery on this joint. Let me see what this is talking about. I'm going to see if I can just go to the next joint. Rather than search for the real perpetrator of the crime, the local sheriff's office zeroed in on proving a case against Mr. Miller. The lead detective harassed multiple witnesses and mishandled the case to such a degree that the trial court had no choice but to grant Mr. Miller a new trial after he was convicted in 2003. So that definitely did happen. He did get a new trial in 2003. Let me see. Let me read on. Says, in 2009, 4 months before Mr. Miller's second trial, his attorney attempted to withdraw and complained he had not been paid in years. The new judge refused to allow counsel to withdraw, and Mr. Miller stood trial for a second time with an attorney who made no effort to call favorable witnesses to testify. The state's case was minimal, limited to now recanting testimony of Daryl and Kenneth Jordan, and rather than call the 5 defense witness who testified at the first trial that Mr. Miller was not the shooter, trial counsel played the audio of their testimony for the jury. Interesting. Yeah, it's like I said, it kind of reminds me of kind of like if you think of what's going on with YNW Melly, man. Same, I don't say same scenario because this one is not a double murder, but I mean it's kind of one of those. You see how stuff like this goes, man. It says, even with the lack of various defense, the jury recognized obvious issues with the state's case and deliberated for over 24 hours. After being sequestered overnight, the jury attempted to return a 10-2 verdict. One of the jurors stating she was only voting guilty under distress. The court returned the jury to deliberations, and the jury changed her vote from guilty under distress to guilty. The same juror spoke to the local newspaper that the day after the verdict and confirmed that she did not believe the state proved Mr. Miller was guilty, but voted guilty to end the deliberations. Mr. Miller, see, that's another thing. Why you taking this stuff trial by jury, man? You gotta, it's a 50-50 in there off rip, man. Whether you did it or not, think about it. You got people you got attorneys both trying to make you look great, the other one trying to not only make you look great, but like make it seem like you didn't do it. But hell, you get in there with a whole bunch of people. Like, think about it. Think about if I was on jury duty, which they tried to summons me to jury duty, but thank God I didn't get called up. I didn't have to go. And I don't think I ever want to, because think about it. Y'all see how my mindset is now. Think about if I get called up to jury duty. It's gonna be a long deliberations, bro. Because I'm really gonna try my very best to look at it from all angles, not just because I want somebody free or I want somebody guilty. You know what I mean? If you doing that, I would like when, in, or if I have to go through that scenario, which I pray I never have to go through a trial by jury. But I would just hope that the people that I get, they're gonna represent me to the fullest. They're gonna look at all angles as though I would do the same for them. And to be honest, it's just something I really personally don't ever want to do. You know what I mean? Just to keep it 100. But let's see. Let me read the rest of this real quick. Let me see. I thought I was sharing my screen. Let me share my screen on this. Boom. Here we go right here. So we should be good right here. Because I thought I was sharing my screen on that, but I'll put it back up here. We ain't really missed too much. Even with the lack of various defense, 10-10 verdict. I read that one juror stating that, guilty. The same juror spoke to the local newspaper, read that one. Mr. Miller was guilty, 10-2 verdict. Mr. Miller was convicted by a 10-2 verdict, which the Supreme Court has since held violates the Sixth Amendment right to a trial by jury while not applying retroactively. So, I mean, Kim seems like she's really working the case. But one thing about legal stuff, man, they don't happen overnight and they don't happen in one day. Like, if he didn't do it, I do hope the best for him. You know what I mean? Louisiana recently enacted a new law that provides innocent people with the ability to raise a post-conviction claim of factual innocence. Mr. Miller has raised such a claim, and like all of his prior post-conviction filing, has been denied relief without even so much as a involuntary hearing. In light of the fact that the only witness have completely recanted their testimony, there's absolutely no remaining evidence against Mr. Miller, which they're talking about C. Murder. Corey Miller deserves a day in court to test the veracity of the recanted statements and to prove that he did not shoot Steve Thomas. If you agree that Corey Miller deserves his day in court, please repost this. While I strongly believe in Corey's innocence, my heart goes out to the victims, and I pray that their healing and closure that they deserve. So we got Frankie Bang Bang in the building. Says, "Yo ho boys, what up, Frankie? Smash that like button as y'all come in and out, man, for sure, for sure." I'm just pretty much reading over that, man. So very interesting takes on things. So Kim's working C. Murder's case, which I've known this, and I think C. Murder is actually talking to Monica, or he used to date Monica like that. I believe he has 3 kids. So we're gonna hopefully, the right, the wrong. But think about it. C. Murder's been locked down for 21 years, man. At this point, though, I would just, like, if anything, man, even if he did do it, like, he's missed majority of his life now, man. And I need to see how old he actually is. I'm going to Google that in a second. The Slayer says, Kim K trying to ruin another man's life or what? I thought she was trying to help. That's what I'm trying to get at. I thought she was trying to help, man. And she may be tackling on too much she can chew, man. But I personally don't know what to really say here. Let's see. Tory Lanez sentencing for shooting MeganTheeStallion. Yeah, they're still a wait. So I don't think they have made a call yet on the Tory Lanez thing. I'm just kind of glancing back at that. But I want to see how old C. Murder actually is. And think about this. He's sat in jail for, prison. That's different. I keep jail and prison, 2 different things. Jail is where you wait. So he is 52 years old. So out of that 52 years, he's done 21 years of his life in prison. You know what I mean? So if you think about that, he went in there and like what? He was in his 30s, bro. You know what I mean? Sheesh. So he's been in there for quite some time, man. And I don't know what to necessarily say, because to be honest, if he really didn't do it and the people aren't really sure, I feel like he should be out. But at the same time, I mean, from what the family's saying, all signs point to him. The family thinks they did it, or he did it. I see Kim jumped on a new Louisiana law Thursday that allows the incarcerated to prove they're innocent and seems to think it could be C. Murder's ticket out. She noted C's conviction is based on the testimony of 2 men, both who have now recanted their testimony. So they've said it is not true. So I don't know if they're being paid or what. I highly doubt it. But, this is a nice high-profile case. George says he'll all for Kim using her voice to help innocent people. C. Murder is not that guy. His conviction was upheld in 2011, and he even appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, which refused to hear the case. So Supreme Court is that next level up. You can't appeal to the Supreme Court. Bill Cosby did that. He appealed to the Supreme Court, and that's what got him out of his situation. But I'm assuming that's not free and not cheap, and I'm going to just leave it at that. C. Murder was found guilty on 2nd-degree murder for the beating and shooting death of Steve. He was sentenced to mandatory life in prison. So I guess it ain't no, 25 years to life, meaning like, if you do 25 years, you can get out. There's some people, believe it or not, and I randomly watch documentaries, everybody, but there's some people who've done their life sentences and got out. And, from what I was seeing for the people who did their life sentences and got out, they said they were better off just going back in because think about, well, not in C Murder's case. If he was to get that and he gets out, his brother's Master P. I'm assuming they're gonna make sure he's straight, at least help much as possible. But think about this. I think I've seen one documentary where one person, he did his life sentence, got out, had no family, no way to contact, nowhere to go, couldn't get no job, and I think he was like 70 something years old, and it's like, who's hiring me at 70, this and the third. He couldn't do it. Like he was better off in jail. You know, and I'm not saying that for C Murder, because he's 52 years old. He's still, you know, capable of still getting out there and having somewhat of a career and be with his family. But I'm saying for the people, you know, and this for anybody. If they said you were guilty and then you later find out you wasn't guilty, let that person out immediately. That's where I'm at with that. C Murder read that one. Says C Murder says legal team was waged legal war on his behalf, arguing he did not get a fair trial because of jury negalities. The team wrote one juror cast a guilty vote not based on the evidence, but because she wanted to end deliberations to protect another juror who refused to convict Miller, but was targeted by other jurors to change her mind. So yeah, and it's not supposed to go down like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is one of those. C Murder at one point had I don't think he had a #1 record before, but I think he had #2 or #3. A lot of his songs, well, one of his songs I know for a fact, Kanye has literally sampled some of his songs and stuff like that as well. So, and you can't talk 50 years of hip hop without speaking C Murder, because he's definitely a part of it, you know, no matter how you slice it and dice it. I want to read this one. January 19, 2002. On this day, C Murder, younger brother of No Limit Records founder Master P and uncle rapper Romeo Miller, was arrested in Louisiana in connection to the nightclub shooting that resulted in the death of a young fan. So yeah, I don't know. And then my thing is this though. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but why would he want to shoot a fan? Unless it was in some self-defense stuff. But I don't see, like, you know how your fans are, but I mean, sign something for him and send him on his way, you know? I mean, he's 16, you know? I'm pretty sure he can handle a 16-year-old. Says, C Murder was accused of shooting a 16-year-old Steve Thomas on January 12, 2002 at Harvey Law's Platinum Club. Witness say C Murder and Thomas got into an argument and that C Murder pulled out a handgun and fired at the minor for point blank range. Thomas later died from the gunshot wound. I just don't see him, like, you get into it with a 16-year-old and you just shoot him. I don't know if he did it. I mean, he did it, but I definitely got to be more to the story. And I know his name C Murder probably don't help the situation if we're gonna keep it 100. Says, born Corey Miller was one of Master P's first signees on No Limit Records in the late 1990s. His 1998 album, Life or Death, premiered #3. There you go. I told you, #3 on the Billboard 200s the week of April 1998. C Murder also has collaborated with artists of his No Limit label, Snoop Dogg. Yep, they definitely did a song together. Appeared on his 2000 street anthem, Down for My You Know What. That was one of those catchy songs as well, and I think Kanye West have sampled that one as well, featuring Magic, that Down for My N-Words, and Silk the Shaka, 1990 song Southside N-Words. Silk the Shaka definitely keeps a low profile, and he gets a hard rep for not rapping on beat, but I think he's kind of like, if Blueface can get away with it, so can Silk the Shocker. I still rock with some of Silk the Shocker songs, even though he don't rap on beat, and I'm going to keep it 100. Little off mode, but says, though he's currently serving a life sentence in prison for Thomas murder and new revelations surfaced in 2018, the first witness, Kenneth Jordan, came forward and admitted and being concerned by being covered by detectives of the Jefferson Parish Sheriff Police to name C Murder as the gunman. Yeah, basically what they're saying is the cops had made them pretty much, I think the cops held some, if they said that if you name him, we won't charge you. He was facing, he did this to cover his own self. He didn't just do this because he didn't like C Murder. But I think they used they bribed him to plead guilty, to point him as to not plead guilty. They bribed him to say C Murder did it so he didn't get into trouble. That's what that was about. Then a second witness came forward and recanted an initial statement of naming murder as a shooter as well. So basically, both of the two people who said it, they said that they didn't see. Now they're changing their statements. One argument, what changed so dramatically to make them? My thing is this: after 21 years, and they came out in 2018, right? So we can say a little less than 20 at this point, but still, he's been in there for over 10 plus years at this point. Yeah, he's been in there for over 10 years at this point, and then y'all decide to come clean and say, man, they forced me to say that. Still 10 years, bro. And then my thing is this: if he gets a new trial and gets out, and they found out they made a mistake to begin with, I feel like the state got to give him a little bit of bread, man. That's just how I'm at. They probably not, but that's just my mindset on the thing. You know what I mean? Says on July 7, 2018, Master P hosted a rally for his brother at Xavier University in New Orleans, calling for his release. I thank y'all for being here today, P told the crowd with brother Silk the Shocker by his side. This is a peaceful event. Corey got his head up. He in good spirits. It's time for him to come home. He's an innocent man. You know what I'm saying? They have no more witnesses. Both witnesses have already came and recanted their statements. So they have been recanted their statements before Kim K even got involved. And people have been calling for C. Murder's situation. In the past, C. Murder's attorney Paul Barker petitioned the court to overturn the conviction and order a new trial. However, in January 25th, 2019, a judge denied the in-battle rapper's request for a new trial. I think he should at least get a new trial. I think since we got this information that come out in 2018, I'm not saying just let him out immediately, but give him a new trial, give him another shot. We got Kim K in there. Let's see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, several celebrities have shown their support for C. Murder and are working to get him free from prison. On August 16th, 2020, Kim K announced that she's enlisted R&B singer Monica Aaron Haney and the policy director at Reform Alliance, along others, to assist her with getting C. Murder's prison sentence vacated. So she's definitely trying to get him out, and I respect it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's worth a shot. That's just how I look at it. Why not? If he didn't do it, then by all means, do what you got to do, man. Let me put myself back on the main screen, see if we got anything up on Tory. I'm about to get ready to wrap things up here because I've been on this joint for, hour and 22 minutes, man. Y'all smash the like button. Let me see if we got anything popping on Tory. Granted, they just had all the people just read the story. It says MeganTheeStallion says mercy is for the people who show remorse. Oh, so she's feeling some type of way about that. Tory Lanez to be sentenced. Let me see. Tory Lanez awaits sentencing. Let me read what Meg said real quick. I want to get back on. Let me read what Meg has put out here real quick. Let me share my screen on this. Boom. Let me see real quick. MeganTheeStallion says mercy is for people who show remorse as Tory Lanez sentencing looms. MeganTheeStallion said that her physical absence from court should have seen as her preserving her mental well-being. Okay. Tory Lanez sentencing was once again delayed following the court's hearing on Monday 7th. Hold on, wait. So they delayed it again? Tory Lanez sentence was once again delayed following his court hearing on Monday, August 7th, which is today. So they delayed the joint again, man. Let's see. The Los Angeles Superior Court is waiting to see what sentence Lane's legal name, Daystar Peterson 31, will be given after he was convicted of the first-degree assault discharge of a firearm with gross negligence and having a concealed and unregistered firearm in a vehicle in December 2022. MeganTheeStallion, real name Megan Pete, had accused Lane of shooting her in the foot on July 2020. Court reporter Megan Cunniff, who has earned the affectionate moniker Meg the Reporter from Megan's fans during the long-winded trial, tweeted, "Incredibly, Judge Halford managed to not finish today. Meg did not speak in person, but she submitted a statement that the DA, Kathy T.A., read out loud." So Meg didn't show up to court, but it's that character letter that I was telling you guys about. She submitted that character letter. So that's what that was going on about right there. So that we're not going to get a sentencing tonight. So I guess the judge is going to hold off because they couldn't finish from what they were saying. According to the Cutniff, the WAPO, you know, the WAP, the song she did with Cardi B. So the WAP artist, which is MeganTheeStallion, she's talking about, said she struggled with whether to attend in person and her absence should have seen as her preserving her mental well-being. Okay, got you. She reportedly said since Lane shot her, I'm not experienced a single day of peace. He lied to anyone that was listening, that would listen. Meg said of Lane's. Cutniff added, Megan said, mercy is for people who show remorse, and Lane's has shown none. She thanked the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for their support. She wants the sentence to be a message for everyone, women of violence. Okay. So Meg is doubling down and sticking to it like, hey, yo, I'm not backing off. That's basically what I'm getting from that, right? Let's see. And this is what it is right here. This is what I saw post up says. This is obviously, I think, from Twitter. Meg said mercy. Yeah, so we just read that. Yeah, this is very interesting, man. Meg, I mean, if it's all true to what she said, I can see why she feel the way she do. You know, again, not taking up for no one or anything in this case, but I can see why she would feel the way that she do, man. So, either way, I would hope that, I don't know, man. I don't know really what to expect for Tory at this point, but I mean, they didn't finish today, so I mean, at least we know, you know, he still got a little bit of time. Says Los Angeles prosecutors are seeking a 13-year prison sentence for Lanez, who's also facing deportation to his native Canada. The sentencing is now expected tomorrow, August 8th, so we should know something by tomorrow, which his lawyers plan to appeal. Interesting. So they're going to drag their lawyer. Man, how much is man dropping in lawyers because they're going to appeal this joint, so they're going to extend it out even more. During the court hearing on Monday, Judge Harford read out more than 70 letters of support Lanez had received. Sheesh, I think the most I ever had when people did one for me, I think I had like 10 to 12, somewhere around there, character letters. One of which reportedly came from Australian rapper Iggy Azalea. Very interesting. He been piping that too? I'm just playing, I don't know. Harper reportedly told the court that Azalea later asked him to impose a sentence that transformational, not life-destroying. Okay, gotcha. We did read that, definitely. Azalea representatives did not respond to the independent request for comment, which is basically where I'm getting this article from. MeganTheeStallion, real name Megan P, testified during the trial that Lanez did shoot the handgun. Think we should be good with this. She had required surgery to remove the bullet fragment, so I think this pretty much kind of sums up what we all kind of know. Explaining to herself as she's a survivor, I understand public. Yeah, so I think we kind of already know that. So basically what we need to take from this is that, yeah, Tory lives to, I guess, be, I'm not going to say free, but I guess you can say fight another day. Look like his attorney's going to try to appeal the situation. We shall see for sure what he decides. What they're going to try to appeal to is my thing. I don't know, but we shall see. I don't know. I can't really speak on it. I do hope the best for Tory at the end of the day. And if, like I said, if he's guilty, by all means, do what you got to do. But I would assume since he's been very chill and very quiet, at least he knows the max he could get is 13 years. That's still a long time though. But I'll say he knows, at least he knows it ain't nowhere to go but down from there. So if they can get it into single digits, I think that may be his best bet. I know I keep saying that, but I think that may be his best hope. Because I don't think he wants a new trial. He wants a new trial, but I don't see that one actually happening. But if he gets that, excellent, and let the attorneys work it, see what they can do. But really, to be honest, I don't know. I said best case scenario right now, if he can't get a new trial, which he's been aiming for, if he can't get a new trial, then he should hope that the judge take that 13 down to like 7. Like somebody said earlier in the chat, if they can take that down to 7, that would be great. And then he can get time served, be out in a few years, that's on a great day, and I'm assuming that's what he's hoping, worst case scenario. But I think that man just want to come home. He want to be free. And salute to his dad for holding him down the whole entire time and being supportive, man. And as you should, because, I mean, that's your son, so you want nothing but the best for him. You know what I mean? But other than that, man, but on this joint coming up on an hour and 30-minute mark. I told you I was only going to do an hour and 30 minutes tonight, man. Appreciate everybody for coming through, showing love. Y'all smash the like button. Sub up to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you like content about sneakers, like I told y'all earlier, you are definitely in the right place. Of course, my name is Jeremy Jones, and that's what I do. I make content about sneakers, occasional trial hauls, and y'all know we just brought Music Monday at the beginning of the year. So appreciate everybody for coming through, showing love. Smash the like button, sub up. Definitely sign up for the Sold Out Discord if you haven't done so already. It is pinned up at the top of the chat. I will be back Wednesday with another Sold Out Live, another Sold Out podcast. So other than that, man, pretty much, I guess you can say, I would say pray for Tory, but just pray for all the victims, even see murder in them, man. Just pray that just that justice gets served however it should be. If they supposed to be there, by all means. If they're not supposed to be there, let them out, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here. I have no dog in this fight. I wasn't there. I just want what was wrong to be righted, you know? And if it was done right the first time, they probably wouldn't be in this scenario. You know what I'm saying? So I just want the legal system in general to just step up and do what we need to do. And people who shouldn't be behind bars, free them all, man. But I'm not here to say what either one should get, man. But we shall see as more information comes out. But other than that, man, we will be back on Wednesday with another Sold Out Live, another Sold Out podcast. Smash the like button, sub up, and I'm officially out this thing, man. Peace.
Angels watching over me. Goddamn, hope the homies rest in peace. I can't, as I sink in the concrete, I throw a prayer to the holy.
25, they said 25 on P on one side, he just turned 18. Sun shining when they hit my cousin, it was like a month past MLK Day. Shit, some nights I see him between the shadows and my smoke, man. God could watch me sin, he turned away from all my foes, man.
45, we got a 45, and I pray to God he don't bring it, man. Sunset and just another text, and that last semester ain't mean a thing. Everything that's evil made me feel alive. I know my niggas on the side, so I got my back tonight.
With my fofo, with my popo second head more. They said I got no draws. They said yo man you draw. They said drum man you lose. They said drum man gun those. I was very confused. I got friends that kill. I got friends that die. I got many woes. I got many wives. I got enemies and I roll the dice. Ay, yeah. I got enemies. Ay, yeah.
Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, and the rest there, what you say we don't care. Smoking on that fishbone, like yeah. Walk around with my chest pumped, like yeah. Talk down and get shut down, and the rest there, what you say we don't care. Angels watching over me. Goddamn, hope the homies rest in peace. I can't, as I sink into concrete, I throw a prayer to the old.
25, they said 25 on P on one side, he just turned 18. Sun shining when they hit my cousin, it was like a month past MLK Day. Shit, some nights I see him between the shadows and my smoke, man. God could watch me sin, he turned away from all my foes, man.
45, we got a 45, and I pray to God he don't bring it, man. Sunset and just another text, and that last semester ain't mean a thing. Everything that's evil made me feel alive. I know my niggas on the side, so I got my back tonight.
Smoke